Blinds and shades can be easy to measure for, and they can be difficult to measure for. It really depends on the type of blind, shade, or shutter that you're looking to use. The first thing that we start with is we use a physical tape measure and a laser. We want to use the latest in technology and the most accurate laser, but we also want to verify that with a physical tape measure. So we'll use both tools to measure a window. And you have to determine when putting a window blind, shade, or shutter in, whether it's going to be mounted inside the window casing or outside the window casing. And what might make a difference in that is going to be the depth of the window. If your window is too shallow to accommodate a particular blind, shade, or shutter, you're going to have to explore outside mount options, and there are some that are in between. For an inside mount shutter measurement, you're going to measure on the top, the middle, and the bottom. You want to make sure that you get consistency throughout the entire length of the window. When you're measuring for the length on an inside mount blind, shade, or shutter, you're going to want to make sure that on a single window, you measure the left length and the right length. On a double or triple window, you're going to want to measure that middle length as well to make sure that it doesn't arch up or down in the center. So that's for an inside mount. One of the last things that you might do as a precaution is you might measure on the diagonal. If you measure on the diagonal of a window, it's going to give you how truly square the window is. And why is that important? If a plantation shutter is like a door, it's completely rigid. So if your window's out of square, it's going to rub in the top left or right corner if you don't take that into account with your diagonal measurements. For a particular product like a roller shade that rolls straight up and down, if your window's out of square and the top hangs crooked, it's kind of like a roll of toilet paper that gets off track. It's going to want to skew to the left or the right. It's not going to hang straight in your window. So it's really important to get that diagonal measurement on an inside mount as well. For an outside mount, most of the time what we're going to do is measure from edge of casing to edge of casing, and that's going to give us a really good way of determining what width of blind, shade, or shutter needs to go on your window. But we take it even a step further with how we measure. We actually take into account how wide a fabric might be or how wide the slats might be on the headrail, because your headrail is going to be a little bit wider. So we may actually expand the size of that blind, shade, or shutter wider than your trim so that we can ensure that the fabric completely covers your trim if we want to give you an outside mount for that uniform look. One of the other ways that you can measure a window is called an inside-outside mount. And what this is measuring on the casing of the wood, but also giving it an inside mount look by continuing to show some of your trim around it. Oftentimes on your window trim that goes around the window, you'll find a flat place that goes all the way around it. You can actually measure edge to edge of the flat place on the trim, and you can surface mount a blind on that flat place so that you get a nice custom look and a nice opening, but you don't have to worry about window depth of some of the products.